Our next speaker is Dr. Ismania Sridhar. He has more than 16 years of experience in global clinical R&D and various therapeutic areas. He has served leading positions in Novartis, Wockhardt, BioBio, Cytec, and GVK. Currently, he is the General Manager at the Hito Labs Department, Global Clinical Development and Medical Affairs, leading pharmacovigilance team. Now, I request to Dr. Sridhar, please continue the session.
Yeah, thank you, Vikram, and thank you. And Dr. M.U. Naidu sir has already given us a complete platform where he has given the complete past, mainly on the complete COVID, pathophysiology, and everything. Just we will go through the presentation. And very long session. I think our audience are overwhelmed with a lot of knowledge till now. So I'll means briefly take you through the remdesivir development and currently where we are quickly, so that most of you are already aware and the current updates I can provide to you. So stating this, I'll directly go into the presentation. There are no specific antiviral drugs have been proven effective for the treatment of patients with severe coronavirus disease 2019. And in that course, as we have gone through various products and development target pathways, remdesivir one, that product GS5734, a nucleoside analog product, has inhibitory effect on pathogenic animal and human coronavirus, including severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, that is SARS-CoV-2, in vitro, and inhibited Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus. So the SARS coronavirus 1 and SARS coronavirus 2 replication in human models has been already studied, and we will go through the various SARS coronavirus 2, where already you are aware of this structure and where Dr. Naidu sir has already given. So this has various target pathway like spike glycoprotein, pepin-like proteinase. So you are aware of this. So I'll just quickly go into the other pathways where the product has inhibition at the host interaction, and this all what clearly and more in detail Dr. Naidu sir has given for the inhibition of RNA genome replication site point of view. So I will more specifically on this product, mainly remdesivir, which is a broad spectrum prodrug which is given for the adenosine nucleoside analog, and which inhibit RNA dependent RNA polymerase activity among RNA viruses, including other pathogenic viruses. And the first trial of the rhesus monkeys, which is found to be more effective in reducing clinical disease and damage to the drugs. Stating this, I'll go into the study data which we have performed, as we are the one of the thing in developing this. So which included initial preliminary report, which has 1,063 enrolled patients, and study is conducted globally at multicentric trial of around 68 sites across US, USA, Asia, Europe, and Mexico. And the mainly primary design of this study was randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study of remdesivir, which was armed into 1:1 ratio, where remdesivir one arm and the placebo in other arm. The dosage which was selected for the remdesivir, the 200 mg IV load for the initial dose, and further for the maintenance dose of 100 mg IV for next 5 to 10 days. So this was the initial this thing, and there are various other criteria. So the primary endpoints was calculated based on the time to recovery, that is the scoring 1 to 3 on a point scale of ordinal score. I'll go into the detail of these ordinal scores in the next slide, where INH has developed this adaptive COVID-19 treatment trial, that is ACTT. Dr. Vijay has already highlighted this about this. The primary endpoint scoring, where you can see this scale where death is 8 and hospitalization, all hospitalized cases are from 4 to 7, whereas the desirable non-hospitalized and hospitalized without requirement of the oxygen will be coming into 1 to 3. So the as per the primary outcome, the scoring, the endpoints, the outcome of this should be desired to have this scoring ultimately, and the recovery for the patients in this scoring criteria are also very soon and very minimal duration they are come out. So this is the slide which elicits the baseline demographic and clinical characteristics of the various all patients of 1063, where remdesivir versus placebo, where we can clearly see that the scores 4, 5, 6 were hospitalized, means the severe cases of the COVID patients were having a good improvement, statistically significant improvement of 12% in remdesivir's arm for the ordinal score of 4, and mainly for the other where supplementary oxygen is required or the high flow oxygen, it is better percentage. So hence this product was more eliciting good effects in patients where moderate to severe patients. So this is Kaplan-Meier estimated, where the median recovery phase where the remdesivir found to be higher compared to the placebo. It is significantly higher. The proportionate requirement recovered are very high. That is within 11 days for the remdesivir group compared to the placebo group, where and the recovery ratio was found to be 1.32, which found to be uh, acceptable. When we divide the patients into various subgroups like oral patients and patients who are not requiring oxygen, and the patient receiving oxygen, and the patient receiving high flow oxygen, so into the four groups, so similar Kaplan-Meier estimate curves has given a remdesivir in the better recovered state compared to a placebo, even in the patients who have not received oxygen and patient who have received oxygen. However, in the fourth high flow ventilation, so it is almost similar. So which may be proven in the additional studies that are already been carried out. So here, this is a measure that we were the mechanical ventilation or ECMO, where the difference was not significant or not better for the patients. So again, the results, the overall mortality rate at day 14 was 7.1% in remdesivir compared to that of the placebo, that is 11.1, which is higher. So which promises the molecule for the life-saving or the in the patients with coronary. And it's already clearly demonstrated that for the patients who require less oxygen flow, where the ordinal score of 5 and less, this product is more effective, means 40% is more effective. And median recovery period was 7 days for the remdesivir and 9 days for the placebo. So that is also giving an edge for the improvement in the patients. So in the recovery rate ratio of 1.47 for remdesivir, whereas the overall risk of death is 2.4%, just about 4% in remdesivir, and 10.9% in placebo control group. So this says the major outcome where the severe and critical patients now been yeah, only the hope that is available is remdesivir. So the remdesivir, the median recovery is almost same for the mild to moderate patients where the scoring is 3. However, for the severe patients where the critical patients, as we discussed just now, it is much lesser in remdesivir group, 12 days compared to the 18 days for the placebo control group. So the recovery ratio in this is more, and the death hazard ratio is also very less. So the serious adverse events are also compared to the placebo group were found to be very less and statistically significant, and less respiratory failure and lower mortality in remdesivir group is clearly demonstrated in the safety of these ACTT studies, and also in deep vein thrombosis patients also it's less percentage in remdesivir compared to the placebo. So yeah, remdesivir is now considered to be effective in moderate to severe patients, and it is the only treatment of choice in the hospitalized COVID patients with severe lower respiratory tract infection. And the data which is not shown in these slides, where the length of the symptoms for before the treatment and after the treatment are same, and little benefit where the where we have shown only little benefit for the patient who require less of oxygen and were low mortality. So ordinal scores will decide that, and it's there is no benefit of remdesivir in the patients who require the mechanically ventilation, that is ECMO, and is still the use of remdesivir in the patients is emergency based for the severe patients. However, and more detailed studies and more depth of mechanism and with clear alternatives still in progress. So urgent focus to come out for the severe patient. This is the only hope right now. So the final data sets for the entire study to complete was in June. We have got certain other studies for the comparison of 5 days treatment and 10 days treatment, and the mortality rate is predetermined for outcome group for the sub group analysis was 28 days for the most of the patient, and where the these are the following criteria which were taken, where viral load also very minimal in these patients. So, as all of you are aware that the US FDA approved emergency use authorization for severe disease, and including we are awaiting India to approve for Indian market. Maybe in by this month ending, this will be available. And Gilead is already approved at FDA and also in India for their commercialization in India. The limitation in these studies is the studies have limited for renal impaired patients and pediatric and geriatric patients and pregnancy. So those studies still need to be in need. Yeah, as we just discussed, a simple severe study which states where the scorings of patients who receive non-invasive mechanical ventilation and or the ventilation with high flow of oxygen or low flow of oxygen. If you see the treatment variation is clearly states that 5 days treatment was sufficient for a clear-cut improvement in the patients. So there are no difference between the either 5 days or 10 days treatment of the patients. So in severe, the conclusions that were derived from these studies were 5 days patients is adequate for subgroup shown so far to respond to the remdesivir. Hence, in practice, in clinical practice, so most of the severe patients, the treatment is stopped at 5 days and see for the improvement. And till date, the studies were completely recovered, and it is better outcome for the patients in this critical illness. So in summary, I want to just presented the development data, clinical development data of remdesivir, which established as the first agents to proven efficacy, and also lefenavir, which was yesterday approved by the DCGA. This also may be a promising molecule to save the mild to moderate COVID patients, whereas remdesivir is moderate to severe patients. So stating this in the best interest of the time, I want to just highlighted the few critical points, but we can have any more sessions on this in depth once the study is completed. We'll be open up for the question and answers now.
Request to Dr. Gampa for the session remark.
Thank you, my dear friend, Professor Sridhar. You elaborated very excellently about the remdesivir and then released into the market, which is a promising molecule to treat the moderate to severe patients. Really, it is highly useful. Everyone is looking towards the treatment, particularly India. Thank you, Mr. Sridhar.
Now the session is open for the audience questions answer session. Audience can drop their questions in comment box so we can direct to Dr. Vice Reader.
Most of them are aware of this product and this thing, and that too, flu approved for restriction use, so it is better than the other drugs in the trial. Shushmita, yeah, you are right. Yesterday we got the Pefivir from Glenmark is approved by the DCGA. Both antiretrovirals. The main difference is Pefivir will be useful in mild to moderate cases of COVID, whereas remdesivir in the critical stages as an emergency use where the patient has completely into an ICU ventilation stage. So hope both the products at the right time we are getting here in India. Maybe in a week's time or 10 days, by the end of this month, we will have the remdesivir also approved so that the patients can, as the cases are increasing, patients can get a treatment option. These are the only first choice of treatment that is available in India at this moment. Questions? Administration route is IV, Surya, and this is mainly IV dosage form. And the dosage, the initial dose will be 200 mg IV starting dose, and further maintenance dose of 100 mg IV for 5 days. So till now, most of the because as we have seen the trial data, the treatment is same. There is no difference between 5 days and 10 days. So currently, with the 5 days treatment was effective. But moving further, if any critical patients, there may be a data for the 10 days required. Yes, there are many possibilities of other many things. Yeah, some, because again we can go back to our rational therapy where people may be responding for various other, even Ayush is trying with some other medication, Patanjali products. So the herbal products also will be useful. And dexamethasone recommendation, it is from the moderate to severe based on the clinical condition of the patient. So some most of this regimen which elicited by the AIMS and the other premium organizations, that dexamethasone being used at the moderate to severe stages only. What do you suspect which virus is next as a vision? So we don't suspect for next virus. Rather than now, it's a time to focus on immunity and the habits that we can explore better, so that we face any type of virus that come across in future, either by mutation or by some other source. Exploring the impacts of a COVID-19 pandemic on global emerging market, energy resilience and climate changes. Yeah, one thing, good point you have noted, Ashish. It's a climate change. I can say that lockdown has improved the climate very good. So we all are enjoyed this summer also with very less heat. Mainly markets badly affected. It's not only with pharma, it's in every area. So we need to be patient for another next 6 months. Then we have to see. Are we expecting mutation of the virus which makes the ongoing virus production ineffective? We may expect because every virus prone for the mutation, just and we it depends on how we take and mainly the patient or the already affected people will develop a more antibodies and more resistance. So mutations may be hazardous or may not be hazardous. Therapy is also effective for that reason, Gayatri, and also when the pandemic will end, we are not sure. It's all assumption, but most probably once a clear-cut peak attains from any this thing, the downgrade. We have seen that in various other countries, Italy, China, and also in US. The same way it can get reduced here also. Yeah, drug combination, yeah, with the ritonavir, lopinavir, and other combinations. So, based on the clinical symptoms, this combination and also the availability of remdesivir is not available in the market right now. So, it's in a completely yeah, emergency use until it gets approved. So, the availability of ritonavir and yesterday's approved flufinavir will be the only the options available. But yeah, prevention is better than cure is one slogan we all pharmacists we rely upon, and this will be the only option. Can we give ACE2 receptors so that virus directly gets struck to instead enter into the cells? Yeah, that Govind, that needs some more studies. At this moment, we can't comment at this, but there are some reports effective against ACE receptors also. Yes, Cipla's tocilizumab being used for COVID therapy, although off-label. Any comments? Sushmita, yeah, is it off-label use? We can't comment at this moment. We need a clinical data, but for the as clinical trials take more time and to give the approval for the DCGA, certain products with the basic sterility data, stability data, and the other global data, a DCGA is giving approval. So maybe if it is in a promising molecule, even Cipla may get an approval for that. Adra and Dexamethasone are used in combination course of single blind clinical studies. This need to be justified because again the design and the purpose and the rationale of this study, Krishna Teja, that need to be justified at the SEC meetings with the DCGA. Then only this combination will be allowed. However, to improve the clinical symptoms, a clinician can take a decision on this for this based on the outcome a patient is eliciting. Showing on screen from last no BP fluctuation. Yeah, all these medication, even the azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, ACE2 inhibitors, have some limitations where the patients who already have comorbid conditions will impact a lot, where one can't directly take, even though there are no predisposing comorbidities, but it will be very much required to have in a complete clinical. However, being safe and being social distance and using the precautionary measures, we can avoid it until it gets a tapering curve for the infection to progress. I think the questions are ended. I tried to cover it from the chat box, maybe to speed up, and we have more time here. But if you any questions, I think you can write to Dr. Gampa Vijay Kumar and the excellent professor till now I have seen Dr. Gampa Vijay Kumar in the pharmacy profession very active and very dynamic. Thank you so much for these sessions where the knowledge enlightenment and the connection with the current scenarios of the product developments for the new diseases like this COVID or any other thing, where we can share it to our budding scientists. Yeah, thank you, Vikram and Dr. Vijay and Dr. Naidu sir also for this session.
Thank you, sir, so much, sir, for joining with us and sharing your wonderful knowledge on the current situation and drugs for the COVID-19. And now I request to Dr. Gampa for the vote of thanks.
It is my privilege to thank Professor M.R. Naidu Garu on behalf of OPF and KGR Institute of Technology and Management, erudite mentor, towering personality, and Bhishma Pitamaha, Professor Naidu Garu, for his valuable message and creating awareness on corona and its consequences in order to increase immunity, what we have to do, and the role of having intake of vitamin D, vitamin K, and magnesium. And I also thank Dr. Venishetty for his valuable message on pandemic COVID-19, its consequences, how to overcome. Indian pharmaceutical industry challenges to lead India globally in developing drugs. I personally thank Professor Sridhar for his excellent elaborative talk on drug remdesivir and how to overcome and drug of choice for corona. I thank you everyone who are involved directly and indirectly of OPF team and KGR team for grand success of this event. Vikram.
And thank you, Dr. Gampa and team of KGR ITM and all OPF team who is working for this make the event very successful. And I especially thank all the speakers, Dr. Naidu sir and Dr. Vajidhar sir and Dr. Vijay Kumar sir. Dr. Vajidhar is over.
Everyone for your patience listening.